All right, there we go. Good Davach, Shavua Tov, everybody. Welcome. A new week. We continue with our mimer, with our Hasidic discourse of why the Torah had to begin with creation rather than the first mitzvah of Chodesh Hazeh Lachem, that you should calculate the new month, or rather, by sight of witnesses, the new month should be declared. That's what the mitzvah is. So the first Rashi in Chumash says, Rabbi Yitzchak says, or should have began with that, but it started with creation to give an empowerment to the Jewish people, because in order to be given the possession of the nations of the world, meaning Canaan, the land of Canaan that became the land of Israel, that if the nations will say to you that you're thieves, which is exactly what's happening now. Nations are saying, people are saying, we're thieves, that you've captured the land of the seven nations. So we will respond that God gave the land to who he desired initially, and then gave it to us. He is the creator. He can do as he pleases. Right? And he gave it to us. So we first want to explain the difference between creation, which is the beginning of the Torah, which is what God does, as opposed to who God is and what he desires. Now, what you desire is real indication of who you are, right? So God desires a mitzvah. That's what he desires. Right? He desires a mitzvah, and in particular, a mitzvah in this physical world. You have mitzvahs the way they are as the will of God above, and then mitzvah down here. Now, what does it mean he desires a mitzvah? Well, that's what he desires. But through the mitzvah, we create a new light. We create a union above that brings a new light into this world. E equals mc squared. Albert Einstein. Too bad he didn't learn Chassidus. He would have been a different person. And gone through everything he's gone through. Not only a different person, come up with, yeah. Anyways. So the whole point is in the physical world to bring that new light into this world, to transform the physical world. Now, with this, very fascinating. Like, why didn't God just give us a new land? Why that we would be the natives of that land? Why take it from another nation? Because that's the whole point. The whole point is the other nations are an embodiment of darkness. The whole point of a mitzvah in the physical world is to bring the light of God into this physical world. So the fact that it would belong to the nations of the world, darkness, right? By now we conquering it, we're conquering it, and it becomes part of the inheritance and the possession of the Jewish people, meaning bringing it to holiness. That's the idea of every mitzvah. That's the idea of the land of Israel itself. It's fascinating. So it wasn't just like, yeah, okay, yeah. It appears to us that, things just take on their own kind of reality. So, God created the world, and, what could you do? Creates the world, and where humanity was at the time, in that part of the world. So people settled. They settled in what would later become the land of Israel. And because of that, we have to conquer it. No, it was planned that way. It was planned. God didn't bring us to the new world, that we would be the natives. And, therefore, hey, we're the natives. And yeah, we wouldn't have sold it for a box of, uh, you know, fake, fake jewelry, right? But no, the whole point of creation is to introduce a new light of God into this world, as opposed to the act of creation is nothing new. Energy becomes mass, mass becomes energy. But through the mitzvah, we bring the light of God into this world and transform. And the whole point is to transform this world. The light of God is God's light. This world is a world that there's a darkness. Now, so this goes on further. Let's take the teachings further. It's quite fascinating. I mean, that itself, what you just said, is fascinating. Now, since with his will he gave it to them for certain time period, for the seven nations that were in the land of Canaan, that was only in order that afterwards, with his will, he took it away from them and gave it to us. In other words, it's all based on God's will, right? He willed it first for them to have it, and then for us to have it, which makes it very simple. And this is a really fascinating idea, that if we will have a strong will, absolute will, right? Then in order to refine whatever we need to, will be very easy. The seven nations, and the seven nations that were in the land, right? And for that matter, the entire world, right? And that it should be a dwelling place for God. Now, he explains. Wow, this is just fascinating. In other words, everything begins in your desire, in your will, and how strong that is. You see that, in in business, or you know, or in anything in life, you know, this strong will with a strong will, difficult things are not so difficult. They're not so challenged. Not so challenged. So, he says, that which it appears to us that we have to put strong effort into something. Oh, I feel like I'm on bottom of the mountain, and I got to climb this mountain, and it looks really challenging and very difficult. That's the way it appears to us, right? So in this instance over here, talking about Israel, right, the land of Israel, that the nations of the world are calling us thieves. That's what they're doing, right? Look what we're doing in Gaza, the Judah and Shamron, Judah, uh, Judah and Shamron, right? We're thieves. We're taking away land belongs to someone else. That's what the nations of the world, so many people are saying, right? Which makes it confusing sometimes for the Jewish people. Because what should be clear for us, for all people, that, that God is a creator, right? Everything is from Him. That's the truth. And what He wants is what it is, and nothing else matters. But we're confused because we've been bombarded by the nations. Thieves, you are. So why would God create such a situation that is such pressure on the Jew, on the leadership of Israel today? So the whole purpose of this concealment, this darkness, is in order that we, in that place, from that dark place, we should request, desire, that we should seek out God in all matters of the material world, all matters of this world. Like a father who's hiding from his child. A father is hiding from his child. He's doing it in order to see that he has a strong desire and use his wisdom, his, you know, in order to seek out his father. He knows his father's just, hiding from him. And he's only doing it so he should find him. So God is hiding himself in a material world, right? In the material world, he's hiding. God is saying, I'm guaranteeing you, you will find me in this world. You don't have to go on top of the mountain. You don't need to gaze at your navel on a Tibetan mountain. It's in the material world where you're going to find God if you really know that he's hidden there and you're going to find him. What is the generality of this world? Means the land of Israel. That the nations are saying that we are thieves. And that becomes confusing. And the point of it is not, is to find God, to seek God in that confusion, in this world. Not to say, oh no, this land belongs to us because, the prophets, they were on the land here. King David, King Solomon built the temple. No, it's in order that's missing the point. All of this is happening in order that we should know that the truth is that God is the creator of everything. He's found in everything. And what I need to do is seek him out in the concealment. I want to do what he wants. And that will give us a strong will that we will do the right thing. Wow. This is more than just. And the Torah promises that when you request and desire, you will for sure find. We will conquer this world. As we conquer Israel, right? The concept of conquering over here is to conquer and bring out the presence of God in a material world. Right? That's all that matters. Doing what God wants. It was his desire that he gave it to the nations. It was his will and desire that he gave it to us. And the reason is of all this confusion is because that's the nature of the material world. It's confusing, right? Therefore, there's great addiction when it comes to usage of a phone. There's a confusion about what you're here for. Let me just enjoy life. No, it's about finding God in everything, in the material world. And when we truly believe that that's the reality and we have a strong will towards that, we were able to transform the nations of the world, that they too will be on board with this. It won't be just a Jewish thing. This is what it means that Jews are a light unto the nations, right? That we will be able then to serve God with the same purpose as in a material world, to seek out God's presence. And then God will truly reign in this world. That will be Mashiach. Wow. That's what's happening in the Middle East. That's the whole story. This is just like, wow. I'm just can't sit in my skin right now. I hope I gave that over clearly, that you get it. Yeah, amazing. All right, we'll see you soon by Chumash Rashi. Thank you.